Have you ever looked at a painting and it's like it reaches across time?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's speaking directly to you almost.
It's powerful, yeah.
That's the power of art.
For sure.
And that's what we're going to be exploring today
Awesome.
with Bartholomew Esteban Murillo's Street Child.
Great painting.
This painting, it isn't just a snapshot of, 17th century Spain. It's a window into an emotion, a human experience.
Yeah.
That still resonates, centuries later.
And what's so captivating about Murillo is that he was working during, the Spanish Golden Age.
Oh, yeah.
Surrounded by all these artists celebrating all this grandeur and religious themes. But he chose to focus on something totally different.
Yeah.
The lives of poor and homeless children.
And it's not just the subject that's striking, though, right?
Right.
It's the way that he portrays these children.
Totally.
He doesn't just present them as victims.
No.
There's a depth
Yeah.
to their expressions. We talked about that haunting sadness.
Yeah.
But there's also a glimmer of something else in there.
Right. Little flicker.
Yeah, a flicker of resilience.
Exactly. For instance, take Street Child as a perfect example.
Okay, yeah.
The painting centers around this young boy. He's just sitting on the ground. His clothes are all torn and dirty. It's a very clear marker of the circumstances.
Yeah.
But it's his eyes that really draw you in.
Yes.
And Murillo uses this incredible technique, with light and shadow. And the boy's gaze is cast downwards, but it catches this subtle glimmer of light.
Lord.
It's like he's carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders.
Yeah.
But there's also a spark.
Yes.
A spark of defiance.
Yeah.
He refuses to be completely defeated by it.
Yes. And there's a question in his eyes, too, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely.
Like he's trying to understand his place in the world. Why? Why are things this way? Yeah. But at the same time, there's a sense of acceptance.
Yeah.
He's come to terms with his reality, however harsh it may be.
And I think that complexity is heightened even more by what he does with the background.
Oh, interesting.
Instead of giving us all these, detailed surroundings, Murillo just gives us this muted, almost abstract backdrop.
Yeah.
There are no comforting details, just this vast emptiness that surrounds the boy.
It's a visual representation.
Exactly.
Like his isolation.
Like the lack of support that he's facing.
And it makes me think about how Murillo was working within the Baroque style at the time.
Yeah.
Which is often known for its, drama and emotional intensity.
Yeah.
But Street Child, while it has those elements, there's a starkness.
Right.
And a simplicity.
A directness.
Yeah.
That I think really amplifies that emotional impact.
Yeah.
Speaking of impact, I think one of the most fascinating aspects of this painting is how Murillo uses symbolism to get across a deeper meaning.
Oh, absolutely.
For instance, like the torn clothes.
Yeah.
Those aren't just a sign of poverty, are they? They represent something more.
That detail about the torn clothes, it really struck me.
Yeah.
Because they seem to symbolize like a stripping away.
Yeah.
Not just of material possessions, but also like dignity, basic rights.
And everything.
And it's like life itself has just worn him down.
Yeah.
And left him exposed and vulnerable.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a visual metaphor, I think, for how this harsh life, this lack of opportunity, it's robbed him of so much. And that barren street we talked about, that just reinforces that idea of being abandoned.
Right.
Left to fend for himself.
Like society itself is turning its back on him.
Exactly. But then, amidst all of this bleakness, we come back to that captivating gaze.
Yes.
Which is the heart and soul of the painting, right?
I'm curious, do you think Murillo intended Street Child to be a direct critique of society? Or was he aiming for something a bit more subtle, like a way to evoke empathy and compassion without being overtly political?
Right.
It's interesting to consider how this painting would have been received by audiences back then.
No, for sure.
In his time.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating question. And while we don't have direct records of exactly what Murillo was thinking, the painting's prominence and its placement in a charitable institution suggests that it was at least meant to provoke some level of introspection in his audience.
Okay.
And remember, poverty was rampant in 17th century Spain.
Oh, yeah.
So while it might not have been a direct political statement, it definitely held a mirror up to those societal inequalities of the time.
And despite the bleak circumstances depicted, there's also a sense of hope that shines through.
Totally.
What did you say?
Absolutely.
That resilience that we talked about.
Yeah.
It's not just about survival. It's also about the enduring power of the human spirit.
I think Murillo captures that so beautifully.
Yeah.
I think about the boy's posture.
Okay.
He's not defeated.
Right.
He's sitting upright.
Yeah.
Almost alert.
Yeah.
That glimmer in his eyes, it speaks to this inner strength, this determination to keep going,
right, despite
all the hardships he faces.
It reminds me of something I read about Murillo's life.
Oh, yeah.
He was actually known for his charitable works.
Wow.
And often used his art to raise awareness and funds for the poor and marginalized.
That's fantastic.
So even though Street Child might not be overtly political,
right,
it was definitely part of a larger social mission.
It's a great point.
Yeah.
And it speaks to that whole idea that art can be such a powerful tool for social commentary,
right,
for inspiring empathy and action.
Yeah.
And in the case of Street Child, it goes beyond just depicting poverty. Murillo elevates it to like a symbol of a shared human experience, a reflection of the vulnerability and resilience that exists within us all.
You know, one of the things that really struck me about this painting is how Murillo manages to convey so much emotion with such a simple composition.
Yeah.
There's no elaborate details or like dramatic gestures.
Right.
Yet it's so emotionally charged.
Absolutely. And I think that simplicity is key to its power.
Yeah.
It allows the viewer to connect directly with the boy's experience, to feel the weight of his circumstances without any distractions. And that directness, that raw honesty, that's what makes it so timeless. Even centuries later, it still has this ability to move us, to remind us of the human cost, of poverty and inequality.
And it's not just about reminding us of the problem, though, is it?
You know.
It's about inspiring us to act, to find ways to address these issues in our own time.
Exactly. Street Child is a call to action. Right. It's a reminder that we all have a responsibility to care for the most vulnerable members of our society. Yeah. To create a world where every child has the opportunity to thrive.
It's a testament to Murillo's skill as an artist.
Oh, totally.
That he was able to create a work that is both beautiful and deeply thought-provoking.
For sure.
It's a painting that stays with you long after you've seen it.
Absolutely. And I think that's ultimately what makes Street Child so powerful. It transcends time and place, speaking to universal themes of human suffering, resilience, and the need for compassion. Yeah. It's a work that continues to inspire reflection and dialogue, even centuries after it was created. And with that in mind, I think it's fitting to shift our focus to the painting's enduring legacy.
It's amazing to think that a painting from centuries ago can still be so relevant today.
It's incredible.
It says a lot about the power of art, you know.
Absolutely.
To transcend time.
Right.
And connect with us on such a human level.
And Street Child is such a great example of that. Yeah. It's not just a historical artifact, you know. It's this living, breathing piece. Yeah. Of social commentary. It's still sparking conversations, challenging our perspectives.
It makes you wonder, what is it about this painting that's resonated with people for so long?
I know.
Is it the rawness of the emotion? The simplicity, or those timeless themes it explores?
I think it's a combination of all of it. Yeah. I mean, Murillo's ability to capture that vulnerability, but also that resilience of childhood. Yeah. The way he uses light and shadow to create such a powerful emotional impact, and the way he leaves space for the viewer to contemplate that deeper meaning. Yeah. All of those things contribute to the painting's legacy.
And it's interesting to think about how Street Child has influenced other artists and movements throughout history.
For sure.
It's become such an iconic image.
Yeah.
A symbol of the plight of marginalized children. A reminder of the social injustices that still exist today.
It's almost like Murillo planted a seed with this painting. A seed that has grown and blossomed into countless other works of art, social movements, charitable organizations, all dedicated to addressing these issues of poverty, inequality, and the need for social reform.
It makes you realize that art isn't just something to be admired from afar.
Right. It's so much more.
Yeah, it has the power to inspire, to provoke, to challenge.
Totally.
To ultimately drive change.
And in the case of Street Child, that change starts with awareness.
Right.
By confronting us with this reality of childhood poverty. Murillo compels us to see these children, to acknowledge their suffering, and to think about our own role in creating a more just and equitable society.
So, as we wrap up our deep dive into Street Child, I think the question that lingers is, what can we do to ensure that this painting's message doesn't just fade into history?
That's the challenge, isn't it? How can we take the empathy and understanding that art like this fosters and turn it into meaningful action?
Yeah, it might be supporting organizations that work with disadvantaged children, advocating for policies that address poverty and inequality, or even just using our own voices to raise awareness and inspire others to get involved.
That's so important.
And perhaps just as importantly, it's about continuing to engage with art that challenges us, that makes us think critically about the world around us, and reminds us of our shared humanity.
At the end of the day, it's through these shared experiences, these moments of connection, that we find the inspiration and motivation to create a better world for everyone.
Beautifully said.
And with that thought-provoking note, I think we'll conclude our deep dive into Bartholomew Esteban Murillo's masterpiece, Street Child.
A painting that, despite its somber subject matter, offers a glimmer of hope.
Yes.
A testament to the resilience of the human spirit.
Absolutely.
And a call to action that continues to echo
Yeah.
through the century.
For sure.